Hi, my name is Bennett with Answers Not Excuses Fitness Training. Today is Trainer Tip Tuesday. Now what we're going to do today is go over 2 ways with a foam roller that you can help improve your posture and loosen up your back. So the first thing we're going to do with this today is look at doing some soft tissue work on your mid-back. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to lay this guy down here. I'm going to end up rolling out on this. I'm going to get this on my thoracic spine or my mid-back. And what I'm going to do in order to actually foam roll my rhomboids, the muscles between my shoulder blades, right up and down my spine, is I can either hug myself like this, or I can press my shoulders up and protract them, which is just going to allow me to dig a little deeper with this. Personally, I just think this is a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is lift my hips up, and I'm going to rock back and forth. So you don't necessarily have to do the whole thing at once. By doing this and coming back up and down here. Okay, you could just find a little chunk here and do this. Like for example, my left side right now is actually tweaked and inflamed. So when I got up and did that, my whole back adjusted, which is great too. But what I'm gonna do is just rip through this here a little bit to your tolerance level. A lot of times people will spend time on certain areas. I like to kind of look at it like until it feels better or I feel like I accomplished something. So what I'll do is just work that until I'm satisfied with how it feels, ideally looser and a little bit better. And then I can move on to this next little chunk here and just rock through that. Now, while doing soft tissue work, our goal is obviously to loosen up the tissue, make it softer and more pliable. What we're going to end up doing now is a mobilization exercise. So once you've loosened it up, now we're going to try to mobilize the area. So you're always going to want to pretty much do things in those steps too. Try to loosen up that area, mobilize it, and then later on we can look at doing like a static stretch, you know, maybe when you're done working out after you're super warm and more pliable at that point. But what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of work on your mid-back. So sometimes people, they get tired here in their neck muscles from holding their head up. It is an option for us to put both hands behind your head with this, but also improving your posture, we can work on strengthening this guy right here. So I'm gonna end up saying to make a double chin and slide your head back towards the floor. And when I do that, or what I mean by when I say that, is instead of my head forward here, I'm gonna make a double chin and slide this directly backwards. And then I can bring it forward, and I'm going to slide it backwards again. So what we're going to do, even if you're not going to have your hands here, even if they're behind your head, I'm going to put this again on my mid-back. I'm going to keep my butt on the ground this time. And then what I'm going to do is drive my head backwards with my chin tucked the best that I can. Pause there for a second. And I'm going to come forward. So I'm going to work at least 5 reps in this area. Once I'm done at this area, I'm going to slide a little bit down so I can get the rest of my thoracic spine here and do the same thing. Now what I'm not trying to do when I do this is look completely up as far as for this one specifically, only because I'm getting cervical or neck extension, and this isn't making a difference in my mid-back right now. So it's actually putting more pressure in my mid-back by making this double chin and driving this back. It's actually extending my spine right where I have that roller instead. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Obviously it does feel good to do this, or just to reach back here, right? And that's totally acceptable, but when we're doing this one, we're just looking at it a little bit differently. You can also work on just strengthening the front of your neck here when you do this exercise, as long as you take your hands out of the equation. And then just making that double chin as you go back. So you're also keeping your butt on the ground, because when I do this, I'm letting off that tension, Well, maybe I could still make a double chin, but I'm not actually getting any extension out of my mid-back. So earlier at a different point in time, I put out a video maybe a few months ago where we're doing a different thoracic extension stretch against the wall. So that's going to be another way you can mobilize your mid-back, but this is going to be a different way you can do that with the foam roller. Now, it doesn't have to be a foam roller. It can be a piece of PVC, like I was saying. It could be a different size foam roller. You could use one of those fitness peanuts. There's a lot of different options, wooden dowels, but generally, or yoga wheel even, that I've used before, but generally something with at least this amount of height is going to give you a good amount to bend over or get more extension so you can get more into it. So this is something you could throw in at the beginning of your workouts. You could just spend 30 seconds on it and even just a minute, and it's going to make a huge difference in how your back feels and how your posture is. So I hope you found that helpful, and if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out.